a week since two underground accidents left 4 workers at mines owned by Sibanye Stillwater dead, and Labour is calling for the CEO to take responsibility. Sibanye says 18 workers have died at its operations this year alone. The company has said that any loss of life is unacceptable and that it's addressing the increase in fatalities. The Association of Mineworkers and Construction Union, that's AMCU, is calling for the resignation of the CEO. To talk more about this, then we're joined by AMCU's Head of Development, Krister Janse van Rensburg. Mr. Janse van Rensburg, evening. Welcome to News at Prime. So it's been a week since the accidents in the Northwest and in the Free State. 4 workers now known to have died. Have you had any direct conversations with Sibanye Stillwater?
Yes. Now, good evening to your viewers. We as AMCU participated fully in the initial investigation at the mine at Beatrix specifically. Our attention is focused there where 3 mine workers passed away, as you would know. So we've had quite a deep interaction with the DMRE, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, and some serious steps have been taken by them already. They've given almost 2 pages of instructions to Sibanye of matters that need to be rectified before those operations can be reopened. And
as part of that, the resignation of the CEO still?
Yes, we are calling for the resignation of the CEO. The Mine Health and Safety Act is very clear that the CEO, or the owner of the mine as it's described, is the key responsible person that must ensure the safety and the health of all workers. And we believe that Mr. Vroneman, over the past years, not just this year, has proven that the pursuit of profit by Sibanye Stillwater makes them cut corners when it comes to safety. They fail to invest in safety infrastructure, and that leads to deaths that could have been prevented.
Interesting that you say that you accuse Sibanye Stillwater of cutting corners, because when I spoke to the company spokesperson, I think it's James Wellstead, around this time exactly a week ago when they announced these deaths, they had said that the mine had over a period been introducing safety mechanisms, but was surprised essentially that those didn't seem to be working. Are you saying that that was untrue?
Definitely. No, we disagree. If you could see the instruction by the DMRE, that particular vehicle, the load haul dumper that was involved in that accident, was not roadworthy at all. It wasn't supposed to be used. The brakes were faulty, the battery was faulty, we didn't have a collision avoidance system installed. In fact, we've heard that the original driver, refused to drive it, and then another driver was placed on it, which led to the accident. So that is completely untrue. We don't agree.
And I just wanted to quote for viewers who may not be familiar with the story, a line from the initial statement where Sibanye Stillwater said that despite improvements in all other safety metrics, Sibanye Stillwater has experienced a notable regression in fatalities during 2021, with 18 employees losing their lives during the year. And that was the official line then when the company was saying it was going to investigate what's happened here. And I wonder, back to the issue that you're calling for, the resignation of the CEO, if perhaps corners are not being cut by people at operational level.
Yes, you see, that's why the Mine Health and Safety Act is very clear, that the responsibility and accountability of safety and health at the mine can never be delegated by the CEO. So he remains the accountable person, and that is why he should resign. We are saying he should resign because his systems, remember, safety infrastructure is not just about things and technical equipment. It's also about people and policies and procedures and things like fatigue that come in. Industrial relations actually also plays a role. So on all those fronts, Sibanye Stillwater is really doing poorly. And we believe for that reason, Mr. Vroneman must resign immediately.
But what's the likelihood of that happening at this stage? What's the company saying?
Well, we haven't even had a response from the company. Just to explain to you the culture of these mining companies, they all have a different organizational culture. And obviously, as AMCU, we compare them continuously. Let's compare Impala Platinum. When Impala Platinum had their accident 2 weeks ago, you remember it was also 4 employees in 2 incidents. But what happened immediately We were contacted by the head office. They had Teams meetings with us as a national leadership. We were kept abreast all throughout the process. With Sibanye, that never happens. They never contact you. In fact, I think our media releases on these issues were out before theirs. They never reach out when an accident happens. We need to rely on our own information. So that type of closed culture that they have, that frankly reminds us of the apartheid era, is one of the things that we think needs to change in that company. It needs to be transformed.
That's not the only change you'd like to see in the space. One of your earlier calls had been for the Department of Minerals and Energy to be split up because you believe that that would somehow help the cause, the plight of mine workers when it comes to occupational health and safety. Why would a split make a difference?
We definitely think so. You know, what we see absent this year particularly, we've been monitoring the DMRE, and yes, the rank and file workers of the DMRE do their best. They attend to inquiries after accidents, etc. But we see a vacuum when it comes to news releases, media releases, even just messages of condolences to these mine workers and their loved ones. The DMRE is quiet. So is the Department of Labor. The Department of Employment and Labor should also be saying something. I mean, people are dying. It's a very serious process that's going on. And whenever you die at work, remember, the onus becomes so much bigger. It's not like dying in a car accident. If we can find that accident that led to your death was due to negligence, and it's a repeatable accident, as we call it, then you must be held accountable. That's why the Mine Health and Safety Act actually provides for a person to be prosecuted. In fact, there is a report out for Mr. Newzroom to be arrested due to a previous accident that happened at the former Lonmin operations. We are following up on that, why it hasn't happened. Unfortunately, it seems due to lack of political will, those prosecutions are not taking place. And that's also where we want the state, specifically the DMRE, to step up to the plate.
Lastly, then, what happens if Mr. Frenneman does not resign?
Well, we will keep on calling for him to resign. We believe he must resign. The pressure will mount. You would probably see that most of the other unions are also joining the chorus. As you would also know, we are currently busy with a gold dispute with him. We are on the verge of strike. So things are not good at that company currently. The atmosphere, the organizational culture is really suffering, and the morale of employees are going down and down and down. And at some point, the unions will need to take that morale and mobilize it somehow. Find a way for them to vent their anger.
AMCU Head of Development, Mr. Krister Janse van Rensburg, grateful for your time on this Friday evening, so enjoy the rest of your time.